Hello, I'm a duck. Let's talk about lips, specifically because I don't have any. Lips are literally and figuratively a very telling part of the body. There are so many different things you could portray through a pair of lips: health, well-being, emotional state. It's a vast place of expression. I saw lips as beautiful and decided to do a lip study for 30 days. Every day, I took a new pair of lips randomly from Google Images.
Huh? What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Yes, I could have used Pinterest or something, but who cares? I just needed lips to draw. I'm not defensive, you are. I'll be waiting patiently for the Sofa King noob memes. Honestly, I was a noob when it came to this. That's why I took the time to do the study in the first place. Side note, let's talk about something. Have you ever been told that if you were tracing, you're not a real artist? Let's be clear. Anyone that has ever told you that is stupid. Real artists learn by recreating the structure of their subject. Very few artists are going to be able to replicate something by sight alone. You need to trace in order to learn to break down the object. It's an important part of the learning process and really shouldn't be overlooked. Now, I'm not saying you can go trace anything and sell it or promote it as your own. That's complete and total falsehood, and in such a case, I would be very ashamed of you. As you can see, everything here that I've been studying, I trace first, only to learn its shape. After that, you see me go out to the side and recreate the shape myself. I'm here literally to learn and then replicate by doing it. That's how you build your mental library, and it's a pivotal way to build yourself as an artist. Now that we're done with that, let's talk about my process. It's very simple and honestly, I'd say self-explanatory, but we'll go through it regardless and discuss mistakes I made as well as how I learned from them. First, as I said earlier, I trace to get the lip shape. Then, I recreate that shape and found some colors that were close to what I needed. I pick more colors to increase the contrast. Afterwards, I give it some texture. It's like sculpting the image. In some spaces, I define the separation with darker colors and throw in shadows. Then, the fun part. I add highlights. As you can see here, I didn't like them the first time, and I redid it. The last part just needed to be a little better. But those are the steps. Trace, shape, basic color, deep color, sculpting, definition, shadow, shine. There you go. See you soon. Okay, fine, I'll go into more detail, but do me a favor first. Hit that like and subscribe button so we can afford the tools to break this down. Is it done? Thank you. Now, step 1 through 3 are pretty self-explanatory, but we'll go over them all anyway. We already talked about step 1, trace. You using whatever shapes help you understand your subject more. Step 2, shape, is just you trying your best to recreate those shapes on your own. This is the point where your mental library is building. As you redraw the simple shape, you are constantly looking back at your image and your previous shape, or tracing. Your mind is learning at this point to predict and envision the end result based off your previous encounter via muscle memory and sight. Step 3, basic color, is where we quite simply put flat colors in our image. No shadow, no shine, no fancy tricks. The most I do here is use a soft brush. specifically because I want those colors to be loose. That's personal preference. Now we get into step 4, deep color. I should probably call it contrast color, but it's my video. The only reason this is a separate step is because it's not just coloring based off sight alone. We're coloring based off the potential values we will be exploring in the next step. You might be some big brain genius that doesn't need to separate these, but I'm not. Coloring these based on how I choose to give depth and understanding that depth keeps my art from looking too flat in the end. Sculpting, step 5. Here is where we grab our smudge tool and blend the shapes into smooth objects while also giving depth to certain areas. This is why step 4 matters. I'm basically using the different colors that I placed in the image and pulling them into each other to build contrast that I deem necessary. To get this right, you'll probably need to practice with different types of smudge tools and their ideal application. Side note, again, I guess, if you want to get better at using smudge tools, I recommend making a color gradient, selecting a hard edge round brush and a medium soft edge round brush. Then testing them out to see how they really operate. This is something that helped me out. Alright, let's keep it moving. To be honest, the last 3 steps have really had no particular order for me lately, and I feel like that'll be changing soon, but step 6, definition, is meant to give some type of definitive edge to all the areas in need. You're basically adding color relative line art to the areas that will transition into shadow. Any abrupt edge that it fits well into will probably be where you want to put this line. This is also a personal preference step because sometimes I like to just suggest the separation rather than showing it. Step 7, shadow, is revisited a few times, if adjusting your light source over and over again, but this is where you were building the shadows into your artwork, using step 6 to guide you, or vice versa if you're me, sometimes switching the order that you're doing them in. Step 8, the favorite, shine. You all know those highlights that you've tried to hold yourself back from rendering because you were following these stupid steps? Yeah, now is the time. Depending on the harshness of the light, you can take a soft, round brush to give a bit of glow to the area, and then a hard round brush to drop in the shiniest parts of the reflection of a light source. By the way, if you didn't catch that, listen carefully. The thing that we are rendering here is the reflection of your light source. Now that you've heard that, stop and look at your shadows and where you place them. This is why these 3 steps are interchangeable. If you have a shadow on the side of your light source, there better be something obstructing that light to cause that shadow. Look at the people constantly clicking and tapping undo to try and fix their shadows. I was one of them. In all seriousness, this is something that holds a lot of people back from elevating their art into a higher level. Not all of us can be lighting gods like Sam, but we can try by learning as much as possible. Think about your light sources and where they would reflect. Think about the obstruction of that light to create the area of shadow, and think about the high definition of that separation that comes from the shadow and shine. Once you've gone through these steps and analyzed the purpose of each, and your art might even look better than mine. Not that that's too hard. For the record though, this was my process during the study. There has been a pretty significant change since then because my goal was to continue learning And that is exactly what I did. Hello, everyone. I hope you enjoyed my, weird, choppy explanation of how I started studying lips at one point. I guess those of you who were keeping count will notice that this was not 30, as I stated before, but, I mean, I didn't think you needed to see all 30 different studies to understand the process and, learn what I was trying to explain that I failed at in this video. That being said, I know plenty of you were probably interested in that version of this as well, and I could put another video out going over each step. If that's what you guys are interested in, then let me know in the comments below. I'll get that out as soon as I can. Other than that, if you want to see any of the videos that I have already on the channel, I've got a playlist with a fun experiment that I did involving the Spider-Verse, so you can kind of see where that went. And if you want to see more of my art, you can find me on Instagram as SofaKingDuck. It's got some of my current things going on and a little bit of a story, if you will. I guess that's it for now, so I'll see you soon.